Hey there, Shortcuts. This is video 2 for Wednesday, 28th of June, 9 p.m. As always, this is the jazz, blues, and soul list. It's pretty hard to decide what record to lead off with on tonight's list, but I'm going to go with this one. Mingus, 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 Mingus by Charlie Mingus. Charlie Mingus. Died pretty young of Lou Gehrig's disease. Bassist, band leader, arranger, pianist as well. So what's notable about this self-titled notably self-titled record is that it's kind of like a cover versions record. Songs from notable recordings of Charlie Mingus's past. He recorded this, I think it was mid-60s. But he arranged the songs in this record with a brass ensemble in mind. So tuba and saxophone, all sorts of other things, 10, 12, sometimes 15 musicians. But it's not cluttered and it's not messy. It's really accessible and really fun. And, this is on the Impulse label. One of Impulse's classics, really. And first time appearance on a Shortcuts list. Similarly, the second record in tonight's list is also a jazz record. And this is also a first time appearance. This is Cookin' with the Miles Davis Quintet. I can't remember whether it was 57 or 58. The famed, and I think the first and most famous of Miles Davis's quintets, went into the studio for one day and recorded 4 albums. They had a prodigious live repertoire. And they just went into the studio where they were paying for their own studio time because they had a pretty crap record deal. And so they recorded and recorded. And the session produced 4 albums. And they're all slightly different variations on a theme. So this is Cookin' with the Miles Davis Quintet. You can get Workin' with the Miles Davis Quintet. You can get Relaxin' with the Miles Davis Quintet. Oh, I can't remember what the fourth one's called. But this is the first and most notable Cookin' with the Miles Davis Quintet. Because as Miles Davis described it in his biography, they went into the studio that day and they cooked. What about this for a band? Miles Davis, trumpet. John Coltrane, tenor sax. Red Garland, piano. Paul Chambers, bass. Philly Joe Jones on drums. Holy moly. And what I really like about this pressing as well, beautiful and really quite funny and quirky liner notes. This is a really accessible album. This period of Miles Davis's career isn't about him breaking new ground, and it's not about what he did with, records like Bitches Brew, etc. It's more about a vibe, and they're one of the greatest jazz quintets ever. There's a couple more Miles here. I'm going to just quickly go through this one. You may have heard of this one. Miles Davis, Kind of Blue. I don't get this as often as I should because I ask for it all the time. When you think about great sides of music, just in the history of recorded music, side 1 of Kind of Blue, So What, Freddie Freeloader, Blue and Green, It's just unbelievable. This is a really nice pressing as well. I had this one for years myself. It's you know, John Coltrane, Julian Adderley, Bill Evans. Just, you know, a few small names. It's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful copy. And there's one more Miles. I'm just going to chuck it in here just because this is one of my favorite Miles's records. And also, this record is more about noise and fun and gregariousness and just, it's the birth of the cool. With Obi, you can see the famed Swing Journal logo there, the stamp of approval. This is a classic. Yeah. More like Miles's version of the big band, but as he said, still pretty cool. And I got one more Miles. You know, Miles is going to keep on giving. I love this. This is Star People, Miles Davis. Now, I'm just going to hone in on this. Can you see here the statuette? That's in Japanese, but beneath this is a little clue. This is the Swing Journal, that famed logo that I talk about, the Swing Journal, jazz, blues, soul magazine in Japan. And you can see here that they awarded Miles Davis's Star People the record of the year in 1983. That is the Japanese press celebrating that achievement for Miles Davis. There you go. What a little mix of Miles records. All right. Now, there's a story for this next record. In my Stax video that I posted earlier on, last week, I talked about how the record store that I found that had a copy of that anthology sent it to me from the UK. But they also bundled in a couple of Stax classics. And one of them is a US press of this next record that I'm going to keep just because of what was done to get that anthology to me. But it means I had a double. And the double I have is really fascinating. So this record does not have a Discogs entry. Whoever buys this, you will have the ability to go and create something new. This is Soul Limbo by Booker T and the MGs on the famed Stax label. I believe this to be the Japanese first press. I find it unlikely that there are any other Japanese presses out there. You can see, the things that give me this sense of some confidence is that unlike later presses where the notes are on English and usually as an insert, in this case, Japanese and on the back label, kind of taped to or glued to the back label, usually a very clear clue of a first press, but also the record itself is very heavy, early vinyl in immaculate condition, with that classic Stax finger click. Yeah, not on Discogs. So yeah, a beautiful album too. Oh man, I mean Booker T, they're just the music that makes you smile. Be young, be foolish, be happy, hang 'em high. Soul Limbo was the theme music to cricket in the UK, and I think still is. The cover version of Eleanor Rigby is magnificent. So there you go. I had one of these a few months ago, and it disappeared immediately. Someone will love that. Wow, what a start. Now, talk about somebody loving something. This record, I had it a few weeks ago and it went like that, and I sent a note to Shibuya, yeah, can you get me another one? It's this one, Junior Wells, the Southside Jam with Otis Spann, Buddy Guy on guitar. And the legendary Otis Spann, a blues pianist, this was his last ever recording, and it's utterly magnificent. And keep an eye, there is some great blues still to come in tonight's list. But it's time now to talk soul music. So, man, Wilson Pickett, 1967/68, became, like, man, one of the biggest stars on the planet. You get the sound of Wilson Pickett, but also this record, Midnight Mover by Wilson Pickett, first press on the green and blue classic Atlantic label, SMT 1042. Again, the data on the back kind of glued, but this is with the Obi. I'm a Midnight Mover, Deborah, Trust Me. A monster record, amazing record. Love it. Now this next record is on Discogs, but has 0 sales, and one person on the planet, Discogs, owns this record. And it is not because it isn't a classic, it is because this is a mega rare variation. Dr. John's Gumbo. I think it was his 5th or 6th record, 1972. He made a few records, but this was his classic. He went to his New Orleans roots and he made, look at this, an album of joyous New Orleans funk and jazz. It's magnificent. Look at that. And why is this record so rare? Well, let me show you. This is something, I do like the inside sleeve. I'm going to show you this too. Look at this. There's John making his gumbo. The reason only one person on the planet owns this record is because it is an Atlantic Blue Label promo. So everyone's heard of the White Label promos, but this is a Blue Label promo that I believe only Atlantic did, and only on the rarest of occasions. So this one is pretty bloody special, my friends. And you know what? The record's pretty bloody special too. It's one of those weird records where the first song, Aiko Aiko, is actually the worst song on the record. You listen to it and you think it's just cheesy and kind of, I mean, Dr. John's voice off down the key, he's a bit of a weirdo. But just, trust me, side 2 is just so good. Yeah, one of those strange records where it gets better as it goes on. Now, this next blues artist is one of my personal favorite blues artists, and I didn't realize I had a duplicate of this one until today. And I thought, oh, well, I'll stick it on the list tonight. 1977. This is when Taj Mahal still had it. He was making really cool blues music that had a Caribbean influence. Just fun time music, really, really groovy. What a voice, what a guitar player, Taj Mahal. Evolution, his most recent. This is not a very common record, but yeah, it's rather lovely. Now we've got, let's see, 4 to go. I'm gonna look. There's one Stone Cold classic, 2 Stone Cold classics to come, but I'm gonna talk blues just for a little while more. This one, B.B. King, Midnight Believer. This is one of these records in the blues canon where putting 2 acts together and saying, can you guys make something work, actually did work. And this is B.B. King, but his backing band are that kind of funk soul band, the Crusaders. And so what you get is that full-throated, you know, B.B. King threw himself into everything. With Lucille, a guitar, searing, beautiful, but with this crack soul and funk band behind him, the Crusaders, and you can tell they're having fun. Highly recommend this record. I love it. Much as I love that, this next record's better. And that is, if there's a guitarist whose influence extended beyond kind of 2 decades of studio and live virtuosity, I can't think of many that competes with Buddy Guy. This is Buddy Guy, I think it's 1968, certainly his best record on Vanguard, and it is a live classic, and oh my God, he is amazing. I know he's on the Junior Wells record that we just talked about, the Southside Jam, but often Buddy Guy in the studio, he is very subtle in how he plays to his band leader. You know, if you think about Hoodoo Man Blues, many people regard the greatest blues album of all time. Junior Wells kind of dominates, but Buddy Guy's guitar is sometimes rather subtle. Doesn't make it any less beautiful, but on this record, there is no subtlety. He is giving it, and it's sweaty and searing, and yeah, beautiful copy of Buddy Guy. This is Buddy Guy. You know what? I'm going to finish on something special. You all know how much I love this copy of Talking Book. The Japanese VIP 6003 on Quiex vinyl. I'm going to repeat myself and say it again. I had this on Mobile Fidelity, and I got this exact copy, and I sold my Mobile Fidelity because this copy rocks. And you need it for Superstition. You Are the Sunshine of My Life. This is an amazing pressing of a phenomenal record. All right. Now, to finish, I'm going to finish on a record that on many other occasions I may well have started with. And it is this. You guys all know how much I love Nina Simone. This is I Put a Spell on You. Japanese pressing. I think it might be the first pressing, but I'm going to have to double check. On the blue Mercury label of I Put a Spell on You. Maybe her most accessible record. This is the record that's got Feeling Good on it. And I Put a Spell on You, obviously, as well. 12 songs, highly accessible. One of her attempts to kind of to curry some kind of commercial favor, but don't think that somehow denigrates the quality. It is brilliant. And look at her. I mean, she's still got the frown on. She's still got the, she's a formidable human being and a genuine shortcuts legend. So there you have it. What a list. Nina, Stevie, Buddy Guy, B.B. King, Taj Mahal, Dr. John, Wilson Pickett, Junior Wells, Booker T and the MGs, Miles Davis, and Charlie Mingus. Well, there you have it, guys. As always, if you have any questions, give me a shout. If there's anything you want to know more about, I think I would say be sharp on 9 o'clock on Wednesday. I'm not sure I've had a better list than that for a long time. And I vouchsafe for every one of the records that are there. They're awesome. And I think it'll be busy on Wednesday. So if there's anything you fancy, check it out with me in advance and be sharp on Wednesday. Thank you all for watching. As always, have a great week, and we'll talk to you all soon. Thanks. Bye.